kind of turned a little bit, like, as awful as it is, it just turned into like a little bit more of like a meet and greet rather than like me being able to actually like chill out and just like enjoy a party. So this time around, I just decided like I would just like see people kind of like in groups, so like see my friends and see, you know, just people that kind of way. But I had a really nice homecoming whenever I got back. That was set up, so that was lovely. I was so tired, but it was really enjoyable. Once I actually got there, it was very, very enjoyable. Um, and yeah, then I've just been trying to like take it chill and just take it easy. Like a hep takes a lot out of you. I've been sleeping a lot. But yeah, I'm over with my boyfriend now at the moment. I'm actually coming home tomorrow for a couple of days. So it's been nice. I'm just kind of been here, there, and everywhere. So it actually came back. I don't know how I've gotten so lucky. Like it came back with like the best possible outcome. So I thought that I was going to need some sort of surgery or some sort of like at least injection, something. But literally it was just like a tiny little tear at the back. And a little tiny bit of cartilage broke off. But so small that they wouldn't like do surgery on it, they wouldn't even inject it. So it was literally just leave it for the next couple of weeks, it'll settle down itself, and then it's just going to be a normal return to running. So yeah, I'm glad that I came back. Coming back was definitely the best decision for me. Like going on holidays and stuff would have been lovely, and in hindsight I could have gone, but I think I would have just been worried the whole time and not really too sure on what was going on. So I think I made the best decision coming back, getting checked out, and I can just enjoy my off season knowing that like there's nothing sinister going on. I think just like continuing to progress. Like I made like a lot of like great progress this year, obviously. Um, and it was a really exciting year, and I think that like I just really enjoyed like my life on and off the track. So right now, like I mean, I haven't given too much thought into next year because I'm trying to just enjoy like this off season right now. But I think that like I definitely want to keep progressing. I want to keep enjoying um life on and off the track as much as I did this year. I think that that really helps me in my performances. Um and obviously I want to keep pushing on. I think that like my ultimate goal is to like be my most competitive self at 2028 Olympics, and year on year I want to just keep building towards that. Um yeah, and just set myself up to be in the best possible chances of maybe getting a medal at 2028. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that like this year, I feel like I've always known that like I could put myself in those kind of places, and I think that this year has just like solidified that like I definitely belong in that kind of region. And my mindset has just changed completely. Like I have won medals, so many medals this year, and I think that like I don't really want to go backwards. I want to keep pushing forwards and like solidify my spot on the podium, and then like push on to maybe looking upwards. I feel like that's what you've always got to do. I think that in athletics, if you're not looking to try and win the gold, then what's the point in doing it? You're trying to be the best in your event. And maybe that's extremely competitive of me to say, but um, I just I think that that's what maybe fuels the training, is like trying to be the best, trying to keep pushing on and striding for perfection. And I know it's going to be a difficult one with Anna, but it's a great aim to try to work towards. Um, well, don't really know how I'm going to deal with it. I suppose that like there was probably the most amount of pressure on me going into this, or into World Champs. But I put a lot of pressure on myself in the first place. So I think that that's probably how I dealt with that going into World Champs, was that I was maybe putting more pressure on me than maybe everybody else. Um, and then I think that like I suppose it'll be a little bit of working on the mindset and like how to kind of like cope with those sort of things. But ultimately, people that are watching you, they're watching you because they want you to do well. I mean, there's obviously going to be a few outliers that don't want you to do well, but predominantly people want you to do well. And I suppose that you've maybe got to try to use that to fuel your performances, into like people are willing you on rather than people are trying to hold you back and hope for the worst. So yeah, there'll be a few things I'm sure that we'll do in the background just to get me ready for that. But yeah, I think that it just comes with being at the top. And yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how I kind of navigate that. Yeah. So I literally did every sport growing up. I was actually a pretty good swimmer whenever I was younger. I played tennis, I did Irish dancing, I played Gaelic. My parents put me in hurling. Didn't love hurling. Didn't love the whole helmet thing. But I literally did everything, like any sport, I did it. I tried it at least. And I think that like in school, I was, well, actually, with all my kind of events or all my different sports, I was always competitive in. I wasn't just doing them just because my parents were making me. Like I wanted to try and be good at them. And I do think that like kids, it's really important to put kids into lots of different sports. I think that is really important. It like develops all those like fine motor skills, but also just like develops like friendships, allows kids to kind of like realize what they like, what they don't like. But for me, then I just started into athletics. Not I didn't know anything about pentathlon or heptathlon either. There was no role models obviously in Ireland, and I had never even heard of the event. But I did just naturally fall into the 800 long jump and javelin. I was pretty good at all of them. Actually, predominantly the 800 and the javelin, they were like my two good events. And then it was my school that like sent me into a school's pentathlon, which I just turned up to. I did a little bit of hurdling before and a little bit of shot before. And that was like my first taste of the actual event. But yeah, I think 2012, watching the Olympics, I did see Jessica Ennis winning that gold. And like from that moment, she was like my idol, where I was like, whoa, like that's so cool. And yeah, I just kind of fell into it that way. And I had this like love then for like being busy and going from one to the next. And just having lots of different challenges and lots of different things to work on. So yeah, that potentially came from doing lots of different sports as a kid and kind of loving going from one place to the next and meeting loads of different people and trying loads. So I don't know, there probably is some sort of correlation there. In St. Jared's, whenever I was younger, me and I don't know if anybody remembers Gina Moses, me and her in European youth or juniors, I think, or maybe both.
Yeah.
So me and her were from the same club. We did a lot of like the paired competitions when we were like really young, like 8 and 9. She's a little bit older than me. And then yeah, Israel came on the scene. Me and Israel, he's either the year below me or in the same year. I'm not 100% sure. But he just came onto the scene then I suppose a little bit later. There's Patience Chumbagula, who is another like athletics athlete that was also great. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody. There's a lot of other athletics athletes anyways from Dundalk. And I don't know, I think that it has to just be coincidence. We're getting a track built now in the town, which is great. But sometimes I do wonder if there's something to do with like when one person starts doing well from an area, is there that kind of like tumbleweed effect where like people start to think, oh, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Potentially that's what's happened in the town. And I've seen maybe Gina win a medal at underage and thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And vice versa for everybody else. So yeah, it's funny how there's so many of us from the one small little area. Next year, I will be looking at Commonwealth Games and European Champs. There's also World Indoors, I think, or is it European? Yeah. The European Indoors. Oh, World Indoors. So that'll be the first target. I suppose that's around March time. Yeah, they're the 3 big comps next year for me. So I'll have another week and a half off of doing nothing, and then sorry, there's a weird thing going off in the background here. I'll have another week and a half fully off, and then 2 weeks of like building back into training, and then we'll start back properly around the 1st of November ish. That was horrible, to be honest, because like day 1 ended and I was in such a good position, and I didn't sleep great between day 1 and day 2, and then long jump, like in my head I was like, right, we're going to set this day up really, really well. And it was on my last jump, I just put my foot down and I just felt like this like little weird sensation in my knee. And long story short, I like went straight back into the restroom, and I just like, we were all the like athletes were around each other, and I didn't want everybody obviously to know what was going on. And I just like, my physio came over to give me a hug, and like I just whispered in her ear, I was like, there's something that's just happened my knee. So we went off and like started dealing with it, and then we had a big 7-hour break between the long jump and the javelin, and that was the longest 7 hours of my life. I was supposed to sleep during that time, but it's really difficult to sleep whenever you're dealing with something and you're just hoping that it's going to go away. And every probably 10 minutes, I was checking to see if the pain was still there. And I suppose it was just that like fear of unknown of like, will I be able to continue going? It hurts to put my knee in like all these different positions. So how will I throw a javelin? How will I run the 800 meters? But my dad, like, there's one thing about my dad is he is a great pep talker. Obviously I got my knee checked out and like I was told that it was structurally sound. Which like then we had to have another conversation and it's structurally sound, but it mightn't feel there might still be pain. So it was just kind of accepting that, and then my dad giving me a pep talk, and then me kind of understanding that like, or realizing that I was just going to give it everything, that I've put myself in this great position. And I suppose one of the big things that I kept like trying to tell myself was that like this might never come around again, and this is like such a huge opportunity. And was I going to just let it go, or was I going to fight till the very end? And I think that yeah, I made a decision that I was going to just do everything in my power. And yeah, I think that like it was just like I don't know how I managed to do a PB in the javelin, because it was the worst javelin warm up I've ever done. I honestly let one javelin go before the PB throw. And then the 800, I was just getting around those 2 laps. I didn't care what was going to happen. I was putting one foot in front of the other. But yeah, it was. I really enjoyed day 1. Didn't enjoy day 2 as much, just because I was dealing with something. Obviously, I enjoyed it afterwards once I had won the silver medal. But yeah, it was a tense enough time. It's difficult to remember. All I know is that like it was like just kind of, I suppose, going through like all the work that we've put in, and I can't even recite what he said. I don't really know. I was probably in a little bit of like I'm not sure, but like I think that sometimes whenever you see how much like what you're going to do potentially affects other people, and like how much they're like willing you to keep going, and how much it means to others, that it kind of then made me realize, oh, I'm in this great position, and like I'm not going to let myself down. I'm not going to let all these other people down. So yeah, it was kind of fun. Yeah, definitely. I think that like weirdly, as soon as the competition ended and like me and my coaches came back, we didn't go out that night or anything. We just like ordered some pizzas back to the hotel and just like sat and just like debriefed, which was the best possible way for me to celebrate. But I kind of said to them, like, as horrible as it is getting injured, like for me and like for future me to look back on what happened, I sometimes feel like whenever you face a little bit of adversity, it makes the story like a little bit sweeter. And I think that like I proved a lot to myself, and like maybe showed a lot of other people like my character. And yeah, I think that sometimes whenever competitions just go so swimmingly and everything's just going perfect, although it's great and really enjoyable in the moment, looking back on, yeah, sometimes I think that like when something happens and you manage to push through and still do well, it's a nicer story. Yeah, sorry, I forgot what the question is. Just probably before I would have like sat here and said like, oh, we've worked really hard on, but that's just probably a lie. Like I would say that like what it actually is I've never known any different. Like my dad has always been my coach, so I've grown up with him like being like really tough on me at sessions and like pushing me really hard, and we've had arguments but we've had great times. And then we'd come home, and we have probably gotten better at like maybe not speaking about athletics as much at home. It's a big thing that like I don't love doing. Like I like training at the track and then leaving and then like not speaking about athletics anymore. It's something that he probably still needs to get a little bit better at, because he comes home and he's planning and stuff, and then he's trying to ask me questions, and I'm like, oh, leave me alone. But yeah, it's something that I've grown up with always, so I don't really know any different, and I don't have like a regular father-daughter relationship to compare against. I mean, I can see that like the relationship with my dad and my younger sister and my younger brother is definitely different. Like they would go down to the pub together, where like that's never me and my dad are never heading down to the pub together for a few drinks. That's just not the way it works. So there's definitely differences that I can see, but yeah, it's I don't really have anything to compare it
Mm,
against. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And there was so many little kids there. It was lovely. I was just off like a huge like the travel home. Got back, managed to have a quick shower, and then was straight over. Um, and yeah, I was actually really surprised at the turnout. I wasn't expecting it really at all. And I feel like it's those sort of things that make you realize, like I've said it a few times, but whenever you're away, like at a competition, it's hard to like comprehend the like effect or the people that are watching at home and the number of people that are watching at home. So it's nice to come back and see like how many people care and how many kids care and how many like all those little kids were looking up to me and asking me for autographs and all these sort of things. And I don't know, I suppose in those kind of moments, it's nice to see the effect, yeah, that what you've just done has on other people. And yeah, it was just nice to feel like a lot of love from everybody at home. A lot of my family were there. I hadn't seen my friends, all the girls were there too, which was really nice. And yeah, just the support. It was just really nice to come back to just loads of support. Um, and yeah, it was nice and short and snappy too. It wasn't like a long event, which I was very grateful for. But yeah, no, it was lovely. Haven't, no, which is kind of really sad. Like I thought that whenever I went over to Sheffield and I was training over there that I might bump into it at some stage, but no, I never have. Kat was obviously also someone that I grew up with or grew up watching, which is strange now that like she like knows me and she messages me and I was one up from her on the podium this time around. So yeah, she's definitely though someone that I've looked up to since I was a kid, and I don't know. Hopefully, I'll meet Jess at some stage. I'm sure that I will. Um, she's just well, oh, afterwards, not too much, but during, I don't know. She's always really supportive of me and Jade, which is kind of nice. Like I suppose having somebody that like you look up to, kind of coming to, I suppose, the up and coming athletes um it's just nice. It's a sense of kind of calm and like I don't know, it's nice having a few familiar faces around with people kind of looking out for you and that sort of thing within the competition because sometimes it can be a little bit cutthroat. So yeah, it's nice to have a few people that you can go over and sit and chat to and not feel like it's extremely competitive or this horrible like kind of yeah.
Mm.
No, not at all. It hasn't sunk in at all. Yes, they have contacted me. Um, I think that it's nice to be like they contacted me actually a lot of them after World Indoors. But yeah, it's mad that like the likes of like Sonia and Derville like messaging you and Rob obviously messaging on Instagram. But it's just nice to have those contacts. And that like they've always been so good with like if I have any questions or I need any help or I suppose just giving me advice without me even asking, which is just kind of a nice sense of comfort that like you can go to people that have been through it before and kind of yeah seek out little bits of advice because it's a difficult one. Like nobody can really tell you how to navigate it. Nobody can really get you ready for what kind of comes your way. So yeah, it's nice to have that little bit of like sense of security there. But has it sunk in? No, not at all. Um, like I still look up to them. I still just feel like me. Like people have asked me like lots of times, like how do you feel? And like as maybe awful as it sounds, I just feel like how I did 3 weeks ago before I'd won the silver medal. Like I still feel just normal. Obviously now I've got a silver medal, which is great, but yeah, I still feel like me. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of changed. I met up with a few friends and like there was people coming up quite a lot asking for photos and that sort of thing, which is lovely. It's nice that like so many people are interested in kind of what's going on. But yeah, I'm wearing hats a little bit more kind of low. Um, so yeah, it's definitely changed. But I'm enjoying it. It's nice to I suppose be recognized for what's happening.